Hey guys, Nick here with another episode of 95 Crypto, and today we're talking about the founder node vote proposal, and there was two forms of it. So this part is going to be a high-level overview about part one. That's going to talk about the node vote proposals that were made, my thoughts and opinions on them as a founder node holder, and because, opinions are like buttholes and everyone's got one. And then also we're going to do a part two of this video that's going to talk about the revised form and how you can go vote today on it. And that will be linked down in the comments below. So keep a lookout for that video. And guys, well, let's get rolling. Guys, so let's get started. We're going to start with the first proposal, the draft for, it's called Omnibus. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but we're going to go with it. Probably right off the gate, I wanted to point this out because this is big and it's coming eventually. The Gala is approaching a turning point with the upcoming launch of our L1 mainnet. So yeah, we're going to get Gala Chain, which is awesome because gas fees suck really bad. I shouldn't have to say that any more than that. But anyway, the bonus pool that we're going to be talking about. There's another halving of the Gala distribution in July. Last year, the cost of the halving was entirely borne by Gala, as founders nodes did not see a reduction in their total share of the distribution. Yes, we've just seen that distribution go down over time, gradually it seems. But anyway, we did not take that hit originally, and that last Gala distribution halving was July 21st. That marks on my calendar. I believe that is the correct date. The bonus pool is a new Gala distribution pool designed to better recognize and reward founders nodes who best support the Gala ecosystem. So this is what they're proposing, is that now we're going to add in this bonus pool. And originally I was like, well, what is the bonus pool for? And that's why I came back to this first article. So if you're just reading the version 2 of this proposal, I don't think it actually tells you what the bonus pool is. So you could be just left confused, but that is the bonus pool. It is a mechanism to reward the people that are contributing the most to the ecosystem. And I think there's some interesting points below that they make on how someone could contribute in a positive manner, thus get more, bonus Gala points. The bonus pool would be funded from an additional halving of Gala distribution across the normal founders nodes and Gala sections, but then allocated to founders nodes operators who regularly exhibit this positive, healthy actions and behaviors towards the whole Gala ecosystem. With the addition of this new pool, node operators will not only get their standard daily Gala distribution, but also have the power to earn more Gala, potentially receiving a daily amount greater than what they might have with just a single halving. Okay. I think that's a pretty fair statement. My only problem with this is that when you actually look at the chart, essentially they're going to, if they do the bonus proposal, at least the revised one, which we'll touch up on in a second, the revised proposal is that distribution, we're going to get a half. So let's say right now, the current distribution for a Gala founder node holder, if you have one, is about 321 Gala per day. The typical halving of that distribution that would be applied to Gala founder node holders, you and me, that would be cut in half. So we just use 320, we'd say 160. Now the second proposal, again, we'll touch up in a second, but I just want to point out, at least the second version, it's saying that we're going to go from 160. So we're going to get that halving. We're going to go from 320 to 160. And then on top of that, we're going to go to 160 to 80. And then the bonus pool is going to kick in and then give you X amount of Gala, depending on how much you're contributing to the ecosystem from some of the indicators below. And some of those indicators that they're going to be using to kind of determine that would be total quantity of Gala and holding location, inventory versus wallet, holding duration, value exchange, e.g., examples given, buying, selling, transferring Gala assets measured in Gala, other limited actions, example given, gameplay time, logins, etc. Now, off the cuff of this first, form of this proposal here for the Gala, vote, node founder holders, is they're implementing mechanics that are decentivizing mass selling of Gala. So, in that respect, I think that's a positive thing. So really, when you are decentivizing selling, essentially you're encouraging more growth of that coin's value, because if people aren't selling, if there's not a price that sellers want to sell at, aka 5 or 6 cents or whatever. I think a lot of people probably don't want to sell this unless they're just trading, an S coin, if you want to call it that, which some people call any altcoin an S. I don't think that, but another story, another time. But it's just going to encourage more people hodling and more, increase in value as people continue to buy Gala and diminish selling, right? So if there's less selling coming from the founder node holders, etc., I think that's a positive thing. I think bonus mechanics should be tied in there. I would add some, and what I would add is that I think those people that are running the node for 24 hours a day, the people that are paying for Amazon Web Services, cloud computing, etc., those people that are, or even just running their computer. Like when I first started out, I was running my desktop 24 hours a day, not even doing cloud computer, just using my own hardware, my own system, everything, and processing that. Those people should be rewarded bonus Gala as well. And I saw comments on there on some of the AMA, but I haven't gone through the AMA fully. But I'll link that down in the comments below as well if you want to listen to Jason on the AMA. But people were talking about, hey, those people that are running their nodes for 95% of a day, they should be entitled to whatever the full day bonus is for Gala, for this Gala bonus pool. And I definitely support that idea. And I think that idea is perfect when you're talking about like 95%, or maybe a little bit more. Just because nothing's perfect, right? There could be some downtime. Some of these nodes have de-authenticated, and you have to go back and reset them up or reboot them or things like that. Shiz happens. We're going to keep it G-rated for the kids here. But shiz happens. And I think that, someone that's running 99% of the time, those people should be up and eligible for a bonus. So yeah, just some mates here. If this passes, the halving will progress, but a separate pool will be established to reward ecosystem supporting behaviors. So this is kind of what I was talking about here, guys. You're talking about the halving, 2021 halving right here. This occurred. Node operators supply was about half of what the Gala supply is. So what Gala's getting minted, etc. Now we're talking about this halving right here. So you could just take half of this supply, right? We'll just right up here, node operators. We'll say draw a line right there. That'll be like that total. So we're going to get cut in half here, and then we're going to get cut again if we have the bonus pool. You see what I'm saying? So we'll just say that this is your 320 that you're getting in rewards. Then you're going to get 160 here. Here, I got my trusty little pen. Cut this in half. That's not a good line. Bear with me, guys. This is like, Microsoft Paint. But that is going to be roughly 320 that you're left with, okay? Divided by 2. Okay. So you're going to have roughly 160 total. So this whole thing right here, that's 320. And then if you just take the half, that'll be your 160. Okay, so if there is approximately 160 here of the previous halving, then what you're left with, again, is 80. See what I'm saying? So that is if the proposal, sorry, these are, this looks like kindergarten writing. But that is going to be 80 Gala that you're left with this halving. So if this goes through, your halving is going to go through a very drastic change from like 320 to 160 to 80. But again, you're going to get that plus bonus Gala, right? So if you're a long-term hodler, those things like, if you're just already incentivized from your own holding method, again, sorry if you can't read that, but if you're incentivized from your own hodling method, if you're a hodler, you're going to probably benefit from this because there's already those incentives up above that are going to contribute towards you getting a bonus. On top of that, you're going to get more bonus from, running your node even more. So if you're someone like me, long-term, I'm super bullish on this whole project. I want Gala to succeed. I want to have fat bags of Gala, but sometimes, I might need to sell some and whatnot. So I might not always have like a full stash, but on the flip side, I'm running Amazon Web Service nodes, etc. And so I would love a bonus for running that node 24/7 compared to someone that's running it like I think the 8-hour minimum. And now, alternatively, if it doesn't pass, the halving will progress as normal and the distribution would look like this. Okay, so here, I'm not going to scribble all over the screen like a 4-year-old with Crayola again, but you can see that our halving is roughly, this whole supply is getting cut in half. So again, if you would even take that this whole thing was 320, then you're getting down to, 160, etc. Now for this, what I think the original version, why it was frustrating or why it didn't seem quite fair, is because it almost seems like it's shoving you into this idea that you definitely want the bonus gala, right? Because regardless of both of these proposals right here, the first version of this whole thing, you're going to be getting that kind of like, it looks like you're going to be going from that like 320 daily distribution to 160 down to 80. See your little sliver here? We're red. Node operators are red. So you can see that our distribution is going to be significantly cut and then also not have the bonus. So if this is the first proposal and this is like our only choice here with the proposals, then out of those two, I would actually choose, number one here. I would choose to get the bonus pool. Because again, you would be getting this fixed amount, you'd be getting that 80 gala, it looks like, period, but you'd also be getting that bonus gala. Okay guys, and we're going to touch up on the second proposal in the initial version. We're not to version 2 yet, but we're going to talk about the second proposal vote that would be coming as well. That has to do with organizational approvals. As Gala has grown, we have invested hundreds of millions of dollars into new games, music, and other ventures related to the Gala ecosystem. Yes, sir. As this ecosystem grows and expands, and as Project GYRI winds its way towards an actual launch, it is becoming clear that the way that we've handled approvals for games is not very tenable for the future, essentially. What this means is that it will no longer be feasible to have a founders node vote on every single title hoping to develop on the network, but rather have approvals on specific organizations given certain permissions on the network. So just off the cuff, real quick opinion here, because opinions are like buttholes, already cited. I think that, I think voting what comes on to Gala Games or not is kind of like, it's a needless battle. And what I just mean by that is that, one of the biggest pros to having a Gala Games founder node or being, invested in Gala, supporting this system, is that it reduces a single point of failure. There's a lot of other blockchain games out there, and their whole network token, their whole crypto token out there, their tokenized asset, it is reliant on the success or failure of that individual game. So when we're talking about games coming on to Gala, I think it's okay to let what games come. And I know some people will be like, well, the quality, we want to make sure the quality's high. Yeah, I agree. But, I think that could even be done from somewhat of a centralized business standpoint from Gala. Like, I think they can vet some of these games and know what's absolute trash versus like what could have a lot of potential. And I just also want to say, hey, what starts out as okay or mediocre does not mean it won't develop into something amazing. And I'm just going to throw out a little shout out to Fortnite, because I know all you kiddos are familiar with Fortnite. Maybe you're not a kiddo, but you're probably familiar with Fortnite, and or your kids play Fortnite or something of the nature. But Fortnite started out as a player versus everyone game. You were fighting these, what looked to be kind of like zombies, ghouls. I forgot what they were called, but they were kind of these like purplish, faded looking zombie things that would teleport in from the nether, whatever. And you would go around, you collect resources, you build these little bases, you defend these little points while they, go through their little process. And then you would survive the round, and you would get resources, and you'd get stuff and whatever. And then you continue playing. But it started off as a player versus everyone game. And a lot of people don't know that because they know it because it's famous as a battle royale game. And that came after. They launched kind of like a little alpha beta form. And I remember playing it, and it was so vanilla. It's so hard to really explain, but it was so basic. I mean, Fortnite's come such a long way. Each season, whatever, it looks more and more marvelous. They add more to levels, whatever. But it was just one of those things where even when they launched their battle royale right off the gate, people were starting to play it because battle royale was a craze from like other games like PUBG, etc. at that time, but there was a lot of a lot of work to be done there, right? So they started off as a PvE game, not super successful yet, called Save the Earth mode. Then they transferred into really leaning into this battle royale thing, and I mean, look at them now, right? So just saying, when it comes to games coming on Gala, they could be underdeveloped, they could be beta alpha stage, they could be a game that's kind of like a games as a service model that it's going to develop over time. I mean, that's where we're at in society, whether we like it or not today. People, developers, etc., have the power to make their games graphically, mechanically, everything just more sound, more performing better, making them into a whole new vision than they were previously, just like I cited with Fortnite. So I think that letting more games on the Gala Games Network is a pro from the standpoint of reducing single point of failure. We're not reliant on one game success. And two, seeing where the possibilities go with some of these early on development games and seeing how much they really can grow and become their own thing. And so, jumping into some of the reasons why they were talking about it, they cite, the first is that in a decentralized network, peers don't go through an actual vote to determine whether something accesses the network or not. If network fees are paid, access is granted. As we move towards a fuller decentralization and serve a curatorial role, that's a curatorial role. I've heard a lot of words, but that's the first time I heard that one. Only for Gala titles, but open the network for others. The idea that every single title coming to the network goes through a vote window simply doesn't scale. So they're just citing a scalability issue really here. And then the second reason is that it's great on paper, but there's poor participation. That was their second reason. And whoops, sorry, but that was my issue, is that when I originally set up my Gala Founders node, I would vote through that software that was on my desktop. Like I was saying before, I ran my desktop 24 hours a day. I would vote through that application interface, right? And then we switched to Amazon Web Services, etc. And I'm just not on Discord all the time, and notifications wise and whatever. I guess eventually the votes went to like a URL, which I'll show you how to vote later in this video. So I'll put a timestamp down below, so you can skip ahead if you just want to get to that point. But I didn't even really care to know, or just didn't really do the research on how to vote. But that's an accessibility thing. It's like, you got to increase accessibility, make it really obvious how you vote, really easy. Not make it, hey, you got to go hunt down information on Discord, or you have to follow them on Twitter, hunt them down. Like, make it super easy. Make an interface button on my Gala Games site, on the website, the URL, on my account page. Let me vote directly from there. And I think you're going to see participation increase. So I understand the reasoning, and I'm sure it's probably true that the participation is poor, as they cite some stats here. But again, is that because people don't want to vote, or is that because people just are busy with their day-to-day lives and they just don't know how to vote? So that's feedback for that. Increase accessibility, increase adoption. And then they cite some different solutions on how to solve for this issue. And again, instead of like talking about accessibility and increasing adoption, making it super easy to vote, they started kind of thinking about, hey, once a certain amount of nodes vote, as voting is a critical part of the duties of a node operator, earnings would be halted on the node until a vote was placed, or until the node vote was completed, due to majority of nodes having voted for one option up or down to approve or disapprove. In this, I'm like inherently just against. I understand participating, etc., in the ecosystem and getting rewarded, etc. You're getting paid essentially for your service, whatever level of service that is, like a little bit of work and effort or a lot, right? And here's the thing, is if you're spending money, you're setting up, you're spending time, money, effort, learning this stuff, learning crypto, learning nodes, running your networks, setting them up on AWS, you have them running 24 hours a day, I think you earned your earnings. I'm sorry, a little pushback there, but I think you probably earned your earnings. Okay, now if you want to talk about bonus Gala and stuff like that, okay, that's one thing. But even when we're considering bonus Gala, in this, vote doesn't really matter. You're going to get that 80 Gala, it looks like, distribution eventually anyway. So yes, I'd be for bonus Gala, but for the second proposal, we're going to touch up on that shortly. I actually have a different opinion, so stay tuned. So if this passes, games coming to the network will no longer be approved on a per title basis. but a per publisher basis, with Gala Games being the first publisher on the Gala network. I like the idea because they steered away from some of this, you know, voting and rescinding the rewards, etc. But they're talking more about, hey, what this is actually going to do is the Gala Games network is no longer, it's not going to be a per title basis, but it's going to be per publisher. And I think that that's going to just simplify things drastically. And then you're also going to have like a roadmap of history of like, hey, what if you have other publishers working with Gala and they want their games to come to like the Gala Games ecosystem? I think that that itself just hints at a more enticing thought, right? I mean, if you just don't have just even a single publisher at this point, but you have other publishers coming here on the Gala network, that is huge, guys. That is really, really freaking huge. So I just think that if that's the result of this, that's fine with me. And if this does not pass, we aren't quite sure. You know, some of this is newer stuff, right? I mean, blockchain technology is very new to people. They're still trying to kind of figure out some of the stuff. That doesn't really surprise me. And there is a third node proposal here on the first version, and we are currently examining what it would take to establish an actual DAO. So they're talking about halting node sales and restructuring of the Gala fund, which I think isn't a horrible idea right now, considering, you know, Gala price is way down, you know, like the rest of the market. That's no direction at Gala. But considering that, you know, the node price itself is not way down, it's like $100,000. The value proposition just isn't immediately inherently in their face, right? There was a time where you could do the math. You'd be like, oh, wow, okay, if I get a node right now, I'm going to be whole in like a month, 2 months, 3 months. Cool. Maybe 6 months tops. And then it's all profit from there, baby, you know, from an investor standpoint. And I think that time has been dragged out longer and longer because, you know, the market is arguably in a bearish cycle, whatever, crab market, you know, these things happen for however long, who knows. But right now the price is down. And so the return on investment is lower on the short term, and it's going to take longer to recover your initial investment. So I think if any time to restructure and halt node sales, now would be a good time. If this passes, nodes are taken off the store and a portion of them are allocated to a user-controlled fund. Okay. And again, this is high level, so if you want to read this article in more detail, I'm going to drop it down in the comments below like I do with all the resources, in a way that's just convenient for you to do some research as well. Nodes as NFTs. This is the part that will excite node owners the most. And that first sentence, just because I read the second proposal, it like frustrates me, but I'll tell you more on that shortly. We know that from the very beginning, users have wanted to be able to prove ownership of a node license with an NFT. So essentially turning our founders nodes into NFTs that you can exchange or trade on the open market, I think is a very intriguing thought, especially as this ecosystem continues to grow and you're considering nodes are right now going for $100,000, etc. I mean, that's a huge return if someone wanted to sell that as an NFT on OpenSea for around that price for a competitive offer, right? And at the end of the day, I think once the 50,000 nodes sell, granted if this whole thing's restructured and how much these costs are changed or whatever, originally the last one that was being sold, I think is supposed to be selling for like $250,000, you know, right? That's crazy to me. But so people that might have a node or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or stack of them, I'm sure that it's very enticing thing, turn these things into NFTs and be able to sell them, right? This has not been possible while nodes were still on sale in the Gala Game Store, but if they are being removed from the store, one barrier to making them NFTs is removed. So that's a tie-in to the previous point. There may still be other requirements such as KYC requirements, but we are confident that these can be navigated. Cool. Yeah, and I think that's true. There's definitely going to be regulatory type things with this probably. You're probably going to see, you know, we're already seeing an increase in regulation. You're going to see an increase in regulation when it comes to, you know, how you're running decentralized ecosystems. Is it a business? Is it not? How do you tax that, etc.? That stuff's still a bit gray, I think, and I think that's going to change with time. There are 2 reasons we would like to do this. The first is that Gala is transitioning to a purely Web3 based foundation. So yes, it's going to be Web3. You're going to be able to connect your Web3 wallets real easy and all other benefits there. This means you will be able to gain access to some account functionality simply by connecting an external wallet, like I just said, to the Gala platform. This will remove many of the onboarding barriers users currently experience. We are also working to integrate a third-party custodial SSO wallet, so you will be able to connect with a variety of other accounts as well. The second is that we believe the node operators should be able to do what they would like to with their nodes. True that. We know that there are some people who may not believe in the direction the Gala ecosystem is evolving and want to leave. Fair enough. We also know that there are others who very badly want to enter the ecosystem but cannot afford the current price of Founders Node license. So again, this is already touching up on what I meant by competitive offers and pricing in a free market or an open market. You know, if they're being sold from Gala right now at $100,000, I'm sure you can make a deal with someone that would be like, hey, I'll get one for $80,000 on OpenSea. I got a 20% discount. Right on. Right. So I think just allowing people to exchange them as NFTs is a freaking huge win here. The future plans go far beyond that, but what is currently visible for node owners. But before we move on to the next phase, we want to make sure everyone is aligned. This would also allow for the trading of nodes on the secondary market, right? OpenSea, etc. If that is something people desire. If this passes, node license will be converted to NFTs. If this does not pass, no changes. And my heart's broken. And we'll get to that next. All right, guys. Well, that is a wrap on the first part of the proposal, the original proposal. And now on the next video, I'm going to link it down in the comments below. We're going to talk about the revised form of the proposal, the changes between the two, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on that as well. And we might surprise you, but my thoughts and opinions changed from proposal to proposal. And I'm going to show you how to get out there and vote, because you can vote today. So stay tuned for the next video. I'll have it out shortly, as fast as my little heart can take. And remember, guys, until next time, coffee's on me.